talking about? First of all, can I just take off before I pass the ball? If I was like, Nick, I've been in the darkness every night. It gets dark in my house. Like, buddy, it's not you. It's the whole world. We're in the darkness for about a third of our life.
Also, the Jets are the only team in the league to not score 25 this year. So I think scoring 30 regularly would be
Well,
tough.
the season just started.
All right, listen. Do you think he was jabbing at the defense?
No, I think they're flailing about.
Yes.
Because and by the way, shout out KW for calling this every step of the way last week.
Obvious.
Shout out.
Good job.
So KW right there, good job on this game. Shout out to this guy for calling this season every single step of the way. And reverse shout out to that guy and that guy for buying in to this fraudulent team and this old injured quarterback that was all of a sudden going to simultaneously be the zaniest, wackiest guy in sports and also the unquestioned leader, coach, offensive coordinator, assistant GM of the worst franchise in sports. Maybe he bit off a little more than he could chew. But here's the deal. They lose against Denver, and the blame went to the sloppy conditions, if you remember. Just a longer time ago, but that's what happened. They then lose to Minnesota, and Saleh gets canned. They lose to Buffalo, and we all get a lesson in the red line. Be on the red line. You got to be on the red line, Mike Williams, and Devontae Adams is going to come. They lose to Pittsburgh, and it's about some weird, esoteric energy. Yeah. But it's going to be fine because Devontae Adams gave the greatest speech I've ever heard in 20 years.
Unbelievable.
And now they lose to the Patriots, and my guess is we're going to find out in the next 24 hours the kicker gets fired, which is fine.
He does deserve
but that won't solve anything.
He should.
A normal franchise that every single loss someone had to be held to account, the discussion this week would be the soon-to-be 41-year-old quarterback, do we think we can get the team a jolt by benching him? But that's not going to happen. And so they got no moves, Coach. They got no moves, and they're just a bad team that plays bad and then loses to bad teams.
Well, not necessarily.
Look, it's tough when you have a former Hall of Fame quarterback from Green Bay starting for your team to make a lot of moves, and I went through that. I experienced that. Now, we started 8-2, so it's a little bit different. We were good at the time, so I assumed that the same thing would happen here when you add better quarterback play, but it hasn't. Now, being in the darkness, whatever metaphor he wants to use, enough of that stuff. This has happened before where a team started 2-6. Jacksonville in 2022 started 2-6. Tennessee was very good. I think they were 7-3 or something like that.
Are you planting seeds?
Well, here's what I'm saying.
They got a chance?
This isn't unprecedented for it to happen. It happened 2 years ago, where Jacksonville started 2-6, won the division. Tennessee
Trevor
started.
Lawrence ain't walking through that door,
Coach. But I'm saying if I'm not in that building, it's not that far in the past where this has happened, and they do have the ability to climb out of this. Now there's no more fingers to point, and it gets to a point where once they're past the point of no return, and it's nice to have the game on Thursday. This is a team of mercenaries. So you've got Riddick and you've got these guys that have potential big money down the line. Once the mercenaries see that there is absolutely no chance, this could go from bad to worse.
Well, they should trade those guys after Thursday.
Well, you could, but there's no head coach that they're rallying for. It's not like a young core players they're rallying for. It's not like this great future they're rallying for. Like they have a group of mercenaries that have been put together to win games, and once you hit that threshold of it's done, then that thing can go so south.
One correction. Oddly, Sauce Gardner is still playing for Saleh.
Well, in that case,
he's not playing very well.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm going to say something I don't think I've ever said or even felt like saying on this show.
Okay.
Nick was right about the Jets. Or Nick was right, period. I've never said that on this show. But
did you say
the only thing
it's early in the season, bro.
It's not close.
Here's the only thing. I disagree with Nick on the reason. Now, Nick says they're just a bad team, and they clearly are a bad team. They're a talented team. I still will go to bat for that talent.
Talent's overrated in the NFL.
Okay.
Talent is not what wins you games in this league. It's different.
I was trying to give you a compliment. Okay.
Nah, it's just, go ahead.
But here's the deal. The reason they are bad, Coach, I hate to say it, It's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has sapped the life out of this franchise by them giving him all the responsibilities you said earlier. He has sapped the life out of this franchise. And I thought with him being so engaged, talking about Super Bowl and all the challenges he put on his own shoulders and showing up for everything until minicamp, I thought, okay, he's engaged. He's going to do it. He's never been a good leader, but he was a phenomenal talent and quarterback, so that overrode his lack of leadership. Well, now he's not a great quarterback anymore.
Yeah.
So the lack of leadership is really showing. And so I brought this.
Wait, what's this?
It's a towel for Aaron Rodgers to dry himself off. What? Because I have to admit, and there's no shame at 40 years old.
I know.
No, you're still going to the Hall of Fame, but Aaron Rodgers, I hate to say it, man, because you were great. You washed. Oh. So dry yourself off with this towel because you are washed, my man. He just is. You've been saying it. How many games is it now? 30 games?
It's 30 games since he
without
threw for 300 yards.
He's not special anymore.
Yeah.
At best, he's okay.
Are we sure that's a towel?
No, it's a
it looks like a towel on TV. Look at the graphic. Can we see the graphic on I think we got an Aaron Rodgers graphic.
While that graphic plays, you go there.
Look at the ranks.
Yeah,
I mean, that's harsh.
Go ahead, kid. I know we have to go to break.
No, do your thing, bud.
No, but we do have to go to break. But I just need everybody to, for Media Ombudsman, has anyone scouted anyone on the members of the former Patriots regime? I don't know what your Rolodex looks like. Who wanted to spent the whole last week trashing Gerard Mayo for calling his team soft strategically, and then showed up and played the most inspired football that we've seen from the Patriots since week one. It felt like that worked, and it felt like I am also owed an apology for looking at the camera and saying, at the risk of sounding like a conceited jerk, I'm the only one who's right about this. Everyone, everyone. Oh, you can't do it. Yes, you can. It made total sense, and everybody owes Gerard Mayo an apology. Once you write him his apology letter, talk to Ryan and Brian. You can send a letter to me as well.
Can I tell you something real quick?
Yeah, are you going to apologize?
To you.
I think Lamar was trying to be complimentary there. It felt like he was dissing the Browns. Like, they look like a star team. Brou, are you worried about your Ravens?
Not this loss. It happens. And there were smart people saying years ago, Jameis Winston was a dark horse MVP candidate, and he was. They'd be playoff contenders.
Yeah.
If they were playing Jameis all season.
Yeah, or Flacco.
But a loss, it happens. I'm not worried about that. I judge everything by can they beat the Chiefs. And with this defense, now I'm still optimistic because they got a long way to go. This defense is not a Super Bowl defense. Now, they have a culture of defense under John Harbaugh that I think they can improve over time, but they better get going now. Because, and they're 26th in scoring defense.
We can show you their defensive numbers.
Let's see the numbers.
Yeah, I mean,
last year they were
not
top.
good.
Last 2 years they've been top 3 in scoring defense. They're 25th in yards allowed. Yeah. Last 2 years they've been top 10. And they got the worst pass defense in the league.
Yeah.
Now, some of the analytic numbers show that they're covering guys. There's not a lot of separation.
Whatever.
But the problem is this: miscommunication and blown coverages. And look at this score when the Browns went ahead 20-17. Look at what's going on before the play. Yeah. That's my problem. Why is that happening? I respect John Harbaugh as a coach and a man. He's got a Super Bowl. But look, they look like a poorly coached team to me right now.
No,
I respect. What is that, Coach?
Well, sometimes there's probably a blitz to formation, so they're looking for the side that the blitz is going to come to. I think initially they thought it was going to be set to the left. Then it was a 3-by-1. They were bringing the pressure to the right, so they just had to get the guys over there. And that does happen. I don't think that's necessarily
But this
coached.
happens to them every game.
Well,
every game they seem to have a blown coverage.
I think it's more a function of they just won two big games. They're riding a 5-game winning streak. They're playing a team that's lost 5 in a row. Jameis Winston hasn't started in 2 years. And so these are the hardest games to coach to try to get your guys up for this, and they just figured at the end of the game they'd figure out a way to win it.
I get that.
Without
Like,
having to be as tight as they need to be.
Yeah, I don't mind the loss. You're gonna have regular season losses. They lost to the Browns last year.
Yeah, but
all right,
yeah,
but
losing to two
it's the
one-win teams is bad.
miscommunication.
Yeah, I mean, losing to the Raiders and the Browns twice in the first 8 weeks of your season is pretty bad. Listen, this was the best. This all week long, I had to listen. This is the best team in football. All week, I had to hear it. I had to hear how the defense is coming on and the offense is unstoppable.
DPs.
The offense has 2 MVPs.
Well,
and then in this game, this is what happens when the Ravens lose. People are like, man, why Derrick Henry only get 11 carries?
Yeah.
But the reason is because all week long, everyone was singing Lamar's song about how his league MVPs never played better.
Yeah, we got to give him more than 11 carries.
Okay, well, but so it's, I mean, sure.
Saw this.
Guys, the Baltimore Ravens in the year 2024 have played 11 games. They've lost 5 of them. The Baltimore Ravens, it's just facts.
Calendar year?
Okay, so, yeah, I was fine this year. They've played 8 games. They've lost 3 of them. If you barely win more than half your games, you're not a juggernaut. And the Ravens have been discussed like a juggernaut. They're not.
What are they?
They're a good team. They're a good team.
They're one of the Chiefs are up above everybody, and then the Ravens are with just about anybody else.
Nah, I don't know that I agree with that.
Someone's got to be the second best team.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.